Hello and welcome back to another episode of Wild Woman Podcast. I have my first guest from Seattle in the United States of America with today, so I'm really excited. We were just saying I think we're 9 hours apart. The sun is going down, has gone down a long time ago here on the west coast of Ireland, and it's Teresa Wornstaff, who is with me, is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed first thing in the morning. And it's just so lovely to have connected with another, I think, a soul friend, a soul connection that I talk about all the time because I think it's very, what's the word? It's sort of the times we're living in. I feel I keep talking about the podcast because it's really been how my journey has unfolded as we are shifting into a new age and we are going through a huge shift in consciousness. And it's been like my thread, I call it like my through line, and it's connected to a topic I know that Teresa really embodies, and maybe we can talk about, but it really has evolved through me stepping into that sort of following of my own intuition. And that has been a long journey for me, but it's been a key part. I think it's a key part of the shift that we're in as we keep listening to what we are feeling and what's showing up. We are sort of guided, and it's a whole new way. It was a whole new way of living for me 10 years ago. It still is and can be challenging, but I think it's the only way to live. And anyone I speak to who has been living like this for many years will tell you, my God, the magic that can happen when you do this. So I don't know why I've started off saying that, but I just feel it. I feel it in my life. I actually do. It's like the magic, and there can also be the mess at the same time of your human life, but it's all part of it. And so, just to introduce Teresa and tell you a little bit about her before we start talking, she's an intuitive channel, a transformational guide, and a former corporate leader whose mission is to normalize spirituality and support conscious evolution. And I really love that sort of, I'm very interested in that mix of the corporate and the intuitive. I hope we're moving into times where they're blending more, and I'm sure Teresa can talk about that and her experience. She's known for her grounded presence and soul level wisdom, and she brings decades of intuitive mastery together with 30 plus years of business and leadership experience. There's just one statement that you said somewhere, Teresa. I really liked it, or it just resonated with me. Our first imperative is to live authentic, confident, and aligned. Our second is to bring this whole self to positively influence the world, and it's a journey. So, welcome and thank you for being here.
Oh, Celine, I'm so excited to be here. When you and I connected, there was just this great big crescendo of finding soulmate, soul friends that I'm glad we get to co-create this time and share it with everybody. I know, yes, thank you. I'm confident that what transpires over our time will be a catalyst for many. So thank you for co-creating this with me.
Thank you. And I was going to ask you something else, but what would you most like to share right now? I think.
Yeah, I'd like to speak more about what you just said, that we are in a time that is completely unprecedented on this planet. We are in a time of accelerated change and paradigm shifts. And, whether you believe we're shifting dimensions or not, it doesn't matter. The energy is changing. And if and when you accept and embrace that and allow yourself to step into it, the first portal, the first gateway is always our intuition because it enhances our ability to know what we don't know. And that's key. we know what we know. That's in our brains. We have mind constructs that comprise our experiences, our beliefs, our the people we meet. We have all of these things muddled in our brain, and that's great. And because of that, we know what we know what we don't know, but the magic that you talked about lives in not knowing what we don't know what we don't know. And the access to that magic is intuition. So I want to, I'm really, it's my 30 years in corporate. I need context. Like, give me a framework from which to play in this paradigm of intuition. And and this is something I've taught for about 4 years now. So I can tell you without reserve that even those who are adept intuitives, when they hear this explanation, they go, ah, that makes sense. And then for people completely new to intuition, it it's implicit permission to expand their abilities. So first and foremost, every single person on this planet is intuitive, and they have all of the intuitive senses, all of them. It is
Can you
that
just
we,
describe those? Sorry, I know we take it for granted, but just somebody going, what do you mean by intuitive? Even just to
yeah,
break that down, maybe would be great.
yeah, I will. Yeah, that's
Thank you.
exactly
Sorry,
where
didn't
I'm
mean to
going.
jump in. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no,
Jumping in
you're a
eagerly.
hundred percent, you're 100% right.
Mm,
What is that? What does that mean? I know what it means for me, but my intuition is nothing like yours or somebody else's. It's very unique to ourselves. So our intuition is the expanded awareness of our physical senses.
mm.
So we have all of our five senses, right? Hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling. And we also have the knowing. So the mental sense, right? So when we look at intuition, it's simply expanding those beyond the physical body. So when
Mm,
let's look at claircognizance. That's my greatest tool. It is not only taking what's in your head and what's in your environment and what your head's filtering about your environment, it is allowing yourself to take the walls down and expanding and allowing yourself to receive little bits of thoughts that bring in new information. And it's just like learning the piano. You have to practice and you have to learn your way. How do I expand my claircognizance? So we'll look at clairvoyance next, seeing, right? Seeing is both with the physical eyes, which is a little bit rare. There's not
mm,
a huge amount of people who can actually use their physical eyes to see energy. I have a
mm.
friend in Texas who teaches this and teaches it very, very well.
How to
Um,
develop it?
how to
I didn't
develop
know.
it. Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. Um, and how she. Okay, I don't want to get off on tangents because I can.
That's good. Tangents are great. They come up for a reason.
That's right. Yeah. So she
Maybe the wall
basically,
came down there.
yeah. So Mari says to learn how to develop your clairvoyance, excuse me, you verbally speak to it. Oh, I see you. Oh, I see you in the peripheral vision. Oh, I see that shimmer. Oh, I see that orb. And the more that you validate your experience, the more it shows up. Um, and we have taught ourselves to dismiss these little visual prompts. The other way that clairvoyance occurs is when you close your eyes. And in your mind, on your mind screen, you can see, for me, when I'm channeling, I'll get visual prompts of images. Very occasionally, I'll have a screen, my mind screen run like a film, a series of images that tie into a story. So if you feel that you are clairvoyant, how? How are you clairvoyant? And play with it. Well, let's try the mind screen. Let's try the images. Let's use candle gazing to see if I can adjust how I'm seeing things and have things appear in my peripheral vision.
Mm.
Um,
I like, sorry, the words. I didn't mean to, just if you don't mind there, when you said about her saying, I'm seeing a shimmering, it just made me think of that book. Is it My Word is My Wand? Is it Your Word is Your Wand? The magic of how we create and the power that we have, by just speaking it almost into existence by saying, I'm seeing the shimmer. Isn't it? It really just, I got a sense of just that really makes it tangible. Like it just made me we really are the creators. Like we have to sort of engage with it.
yes, exactly. That's 100% right. And I'll tie that back directly to manifestation. If you want to manifest something, speak it into existence. Your thoughts, your energy exuding or reflecting out what you want to manifest is powerful. But the moment you put it into form through words and sound, it becomes exponentially powerful. So I agree
Mm.
100%. Yeah. The other sense, the other intuitive ability um, that I want to touch on is empathy, because I believe that that is the most widespread ability on the planet that we use and we validate through folklore and tales. What's your gut instinct? How does that feel to you? Um, it is more validated than any of our other senses. And empathy is simply feeling.
Mm.
And what we will, yes, thank you. What we will learn as time evolves for us, especially in 2026, is that when we filter information, questions, those decision points that we hit in our life through our empathy, through our feelings, 99.999%, you'll get a more accurate answer than if you simply use your mental capacity to make a decision. You can validate and justify and manipulate data and manipulate perceptions to support a decision that on paper may look really exceptional, right?
Mm.
But if you take that same decision that your head is giving you a yes on, and you close your eyes, place your hand on your heart, and imagine that decision unfolding in front of you, and then feel, how does that feel in your body? If you don't get a hell yes, it's a hell no.
Mm.
Because there's something that you are not aware of. You don't know what you don't know. Or there may be another opportunity coming, or it may shift and morph into something that is unplanned for, but it will always be right. You can't fool feelings. You can't manipulate feelings. Only the head can be manipulated. Now, the head can tell the feelings they're wrong, and they often do, right? Our head often tells us, oh, don't feel that way. Oh, that's stupid. Don't be dumb. I heard a story about a battered woman yesterday when I met with a friend. She intervened, and the woman
Oh,
justified. Yeah. And the woman justified and said, oh, no, he didn't do that. You're hearing things.
mm,
So our head manipulates our heart. But when you can tune in and allow your heart to have the biggest voice and determine, is it your heart or your gut? Which is your primary source, right? Because some people are
mm,
gut people, you know?
mm. Yeah.
Um,
So both is valid. It just depends where you feel most, yeah, where you connect most yourself or
yeah,
trust more.
yes, yeah,
And can I ask, sorry on that, sorry, I know you're just while you're in that moment with that. So say if you're, as you said there, which I did, closed my eyes and I imagined myself as doing something and I got a nice feel of ease. I didn't, now my mind was probably coming in, oh my God, are you serious? Or a little bit like that. But can it mean, as you said, if you're not getting a hell yes, it's not necessary to dismiss it completely. It could be, like you said, that maybe more information needs to come in, or maybe it's the timing. Is it so it's not to go, oh my God, I can't do that? Like, my sense, just my experience is it's very moment to moment. Like, it's not going to give you a 6 month plan. It's like, right now, I'm feeling whatever, you know, so it's just to throw that into it as well. That's probably an important piece as well, isn't it?
yeah, that's a great
Yeah.
clarifier. In
Mm.
this moment, that is optimal or not optimal. And also, the hell yeah, it could be a feeling of ease. That could
Mm.
be the sense that you want, that's the result that you want in that experience. Does that make sense?
It does. It
Yeah,
does. Exactly. It does. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So it's and here's another layer that I'm being nudged to share. And when I look up, it's because I'm speaking with my guides and I'm receiving information. Um,
Thank you for joining, guides.
yeah, thank you. They're always there.
Yeah,
And
but
and quite willing to speak up.
you might tell us a little bit about them in a little while,
I will. I will.
please. Mm.
And maybe even they'll come in and chat
Mm.
with us.
That would
That'd
be
be really
lovely.
fun.
That would be
Yeah.
lovely. Yeah.
Um, oh, I forgot what I was gonna say.
I interrupted you there.
No, that's okay.
Another layer, I think, did you say? Another layer to
Oh, yes,
this.
yes. Thank you. Um,
Mhm.
when we develop our intuitive abilities, our guides, our ancestors, our support teams are all using our intuition as a way to communicate with us.
Mm.
So they'll try everything. They'll literally throw everything at you. One of the my favorite ways, it was probably a decade and a half ago, and it occurs occasionally now, is they'll send wild animals. They'll send animals. Like I hike every day over by the river, and if they want to kind of highlight a point they're making to me, they'll send a wild animal, whether it's a river otter, a raven, um, red-tailed hawk, just to kind of say, okay, you're on the right path. The thoughts that you're creating in your mind are aligned with where you want to take your life or are
Mm.
aligned with that decision you're going to make. or we want to validate what you're thinking and feeling and constructing in your brain, because we're great meaning making machines, right? Is spot on. You're right. Um, Another way that our guides will communicate with us and validate our experiences is in simple ways. Um, we'll be in the grocery store and overhear only a part of a conversation, but the part that we hear will be directly relevant to whatever's on our mind. Or our attention will be drawn. And this is how we scan constantly for information. Our attention will be drawn to a color or to a series of numbers, 111, or to a picture. There's just any number of ways that our guides will communicate with us. Our opportunity is to acknowledge when we receive them and continue to build that rapport.
Yeah.
Um,
But do we, it's that from my experience before when I probably didn't listen to my intuition or didn't really know a lot about it. I think I did when I was very young and then I shut it down. But we have to sort of come online, don't we, to I just imagine when you're describing it, it's like you really have to be switched on, like we're all in this soup of energy and whatever is resonating or we're creating with our mind is sort of around us. But if we're not sort of like someone described it to me like us being antennae on the earth, even for clearing things that are on the planet. And I really feel that, like, like an array, this antennae out. And if you're sort of then transmitting, I'm seeing whatever, then those things you'll become alert to. But you sort of have to switch yourself on first, don't you?
yeah, you,
I suppose. Or
yeah,
does
you have
something
to pay
happen?
attention.
Yeah. In your experience, how does this start? I can say for me, but how do you find, because you teach this, how does this come online for many people?
Well, first, I want to state a qualifier. We're always running our intuition, whether we know it or
Okay.
not.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, we just are. It's
Yes.
always
Okay.
on.
Yes.
We need to start paying attention.
Okay. Yeah.
That's it. And
Okay.
and if if you're just new to the journey, say, okay, I want to learn how to use my intuition. That's it. And then watch as things come into your field. Well, I haven't seen a little jackrabbit in about 3 years. What is that doing in the field? And then get on Google and find out what a jackrabbit signifies. That's a message. If
Mhm.
you are in the city and you turn around and there's a big sign in front of you that has a message, what does that message mean to you? What significance? So pay attention to the world around you because we're always sending and receiving information. We just have
Yes.
to learn how
Yes.
to tune into it.
Yes.
Uh,
That's probably the point I was trying to make. Yeah. So we're doing that whether we're conscious or not. And
yeah.
is this sending and receiving? I don't know, I'm just very interested. I think it's really useful because sometimes it brings it to another level, as you said, rather than just saying, oh, follow your intuition. Some could be like, what? But just it's that sort of bringing almost the physics or the science to it, like we're electromagnetic, isn't it? So the sending and receiving all the time, I suppose, isn't it? Our lives, I've heard that if you don't like the movie of your life, well, then, you got to look at what's on the projector.
Yeah.
So it is,
Change the
isn't
script.
it?
Yeah.
Change the script. And it does feel, but it can be quite delayed, can it? I just feel, because often you say, but I'm not thinking, I'm not feeling that way anymore, but things are still, so there is, obviously, isn't there? There's a lag. There can be a lag in how this shows up as well. Or do you feel
So,
it's different now, or how does that work?
yeah, that's a great point.
Hmm.
So, yes, and um, the energy on the planet today, especially since August, has dramatically shifted. Dramatically. And So in some cases, there is no leg. You're literally going to say, I want to manifest this, and within a week. Now, to me, that's no leg because
Mm.
Earth is pretty dense. Or in a couple of days, the opportunity to step forward into that path will show up. Now, the other thing we need to consider is that when we ask for something, maybe it's not in our best interests. So, what your guides, what the universe will do, what your soul will do, is say, okay, I know you asked for a turquoise bike, but dude, that's not in your best interest. You really need a red one. And and so
Go better with your
yeah, well, you'll be able to be seen, or somebody will be, you don't know. You just don't know. So the universe will respond by giving you a partial answer. So they'll say, okay, you can have a bike, but it's not going to be turquoise. Or you can have that job, but it's not going to be at that company. Because there's somebody at this company that you need to meet in 6 months who's going to change your life. Or don't take that vacation there. I know you want to go to the beach, or I know you want to go to the mountains, but go to this place here because there's something you're going to experience that's going to open you up to more possibilities. And you make a connection and have an experience. So it's what I tell people is stay curious. You can't be judgmental when you're curious. They can't coexist.
Mm.
Be patient. Allow the universe to respond to you, right? Because their response requires them to put things in your path or to put things together that will give you the response that is optimal for your journey, for your life. So be
Mm.
patient and be neutral. If
Mm.
you get, yeah, if you get a red bike, don't be pissed off. Say, thank you for the red bike and negotiate with the universe if you don't like it. If you say, red is just not my jam, red is not me. Okay, if I can't have turquoise, how about blue or white? White's nice and neutral. So you can negotiate. You can say, yeah, that's okay, but how about this? And then again, be curious, patient, and neutral. See what shows up. Because if it's meant for you, it's not going to disappear. It's not going to go away. You're not going to miss out.
Yeah, we have a bit of that fear, don't we, sometimes of, but if I get it wrong, then I've missed out and my whole life has fallen apart and oh my God. But
Yeah.
if it's, I remember hearing something like that going, my God, that's so reassuring just to know if it's meant for you, it'll find its way for you. And meant for you, I mean for, I'm assuming, for, your soul, what your soul is sort of down here doing, really, rather than you as a person going, I just love that, or
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, so how do you suggest, when you were saying that, just giving the example of the bike and that sort of conversation or negotiation, do you sort of say to people, well, it's really good to do that just sitting down, say a little prayer or set an intention, or is there a process you recommend people do? Or can you just be going around having that conversation all the time? Have it. There's
All
no
the
right
above.
way to do it.
Yeah. What feels right for you? Some people need rituals. That
Hmm.
really feeds their soul. And there's some things that I ritualize. Um, but most of the time it's just in the moment. Oh, thank you, but I don't want that. Um, let's try something different. So,
Mm.
yeah.
And is that because you talk about helping people live sort of a life that's aligned with their purpose or where they feel on purpose? is the intuition, would you say, part of how, if someone's coming to you, because I think you've talked about it, that many of the clients you work with may be at the end of, I'm fed up with my job, or my relationship broke down, or I'm just burnt out. Those sort of people come to you. So how would you go about supporting them then to find a life that's aligned for them?
Yeah, that's a great question. A couple of ways. One, start developing your intuition. Start trusting yourself because all the decisions you've made up till now have given you the life that you thought you were supposed to have. You got what you asked for, right?
Say that again. That's interesting.
All the
So,
decisions that you've made up until
yes.
now has got you the life that you thought you were supposed to have.
Okay.
That's
Wow.
how I ended up in corporate for 30 years. I thought that I was supposed to go out and get a job and be successful in the business world in order for me to be successful. In my world, that's what success was defined as. Climbing my dad was an entrepreneur. He had a multinational business with headquarters in Southeast Asia and the States and Canada, and he did business in Europe. I mean, he was highly successful.
Mm,
And I grew up watching him climb the ladder and then build his own business, and I was told go to school, get a good education, get a job, do well at your job, rise the ranks in your job. And that's how I thought I was supposed to live. I call it living by default.
living by default. Yeah.
We look outside, and what does society tell us we should do? And for some women, it's find a man, get married, have children, raise your children. That's what you're told. And I love the 20s and 30s women nowadays saying, I'm never having children. I've heard that more in the last year than
Mm,
I have in my entire life. They're just
wow.
like, that's not my path. I'm not here to procreate. I don't have that burning need to be a mother.
But
And
they're
those people,
trusting it. So they're
yeah,
trusting that. That's the difference, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And they're
Mm,
redefining the constructs, the societal constructs for women. And for men, it's climbing the ladder or being successful in business and or owning your own business or being top of your game in a trade. So the first thing you need to do is develop your intuition so you can start to understand what is within you that you want to contribute to the planet. Every
mm,
single human on this planet is a puzzle piece.
mm,
And we all have something incredibly powerful and vital and important to contribute to the evolution of the planet. Every single one of you. I cannot overstate that because people won't hear it. They won't receive it. Oh no, I'm not that important. I'm just little me sitting in Seattle, blah, blah, blah. No, you're important. The other thing that I do is I have learned how to um, create a soul contract. And this is a chart that tells the person what their soul contract is, what their karma is, what their talents are, and it it helps to identify the direction that you could take your life if you choose to follow your soul's contract. So the premise is this: before you come into form, before you're a little baby, your soul gets together with all its soul friends and they say, okay, we're going to go play the game of being a human. And let's talk about you, Celine. In this life, you're going to go through these kinds of hardships and you're going to do these things and you're going to contribute back to the planet in this way. And we'll support you. So you bring in a cast of characters, of souls that you've worked with in past lives, future lives, parallel lives, different universes from all different spaces. And you drop into the planet and you begin the journey. Now, typically the formative part of this life journey is where we create our beliefs, where we create our behaviors, and where we make decisions on who we are. That's our karma, right? Our
Mm.
karma is directly tied to our parents and our experiences and creates the foundation for what we're going to begin to overcome. Because our karma is there to help us learn. We don't learn by throwing a party, we learn by running into the ditch. The party's a fond memory, the ditch is an event, and we remember those events. And those events become defining for us because we don't want to run into the ditch twice, right?
Mm.
So, what do I need to do in my life to get out of the ditch and stay out of the ditch? And that's how we lean into, I call it our brilliance. And this is actually something that I
Mm.
teach people in one of my classes, The Alchemy of an Intentional Life. We all have inherent abilities and talents that are built in. And the best way to find out what yours is to go ask your friends and your family. What would you call me for if you needed help? What situation would you be in that you would call me and know that I could help you? Right?
Mm.
Would it be moving? Would it be organizing? For me, my kids and my friends call me when they need reassurance that they're on the right path. Hey, mom, I think I'm going to do this. How does that feel to you? And I step into my clairvoyance, claircognizance, and I feel into it and I give them my feedback, right?
Mm. Mm.
Now, had you asked me that when I was in corporate America, I would have never languaged it that way. I would have said, well, after doing an analysis of this information and understanding how this project is unfolding, what I recommend is that we pivot and move in this direction. Same thing, just different language.
And did this start to wake up for you when you were in corporate America, or how did that start to shift for you to where you are now?
Yeah,
That'll be a
no,
long
I was
story.
born this way.
Ah, okay. I think you said that. So
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, maybe just take us through a little bit of that. Because
So
again,
my,
sorry, just to say, Teresa, I think again, and I'm noticing it so much with many people, nearly everybody who comes on, that they had a lot of what they're doing now was sort of there and alive when they were really, really young, and then life, obviously. It's like the amnesia or the veil of forgetfulness comes down, as it has to, I suppose.
well,
Well, maybe does it?
that's the way
Mm,
it's designed, right?
mm,
That's what we've kind of designed the human existence to be. You come in all woke, and then you start piling on all the beliefs and behaviors, and then you live the life by default. And then you wake up, usually midlife crisis. Usually midlife, we kind of go, what the heck am I doing? I'm not happy. That's the word. That's the statement I hear most. I'm not happy.
mm,
I'm not happy. I'm not fulfilled. And I feel this yearning in my heart for something else. Help. What do I do with this? How do I figure this out? Because I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore. And that's generally when people come to me. I will say the children that are being born now, they're not turning off the way that we did.
Mm.
They're
That's what I
just
sense.
not. Yeah.
Mm.
And more of my clients are 20 somethings and 30 somethings that are like, you know, I started to go down that path. It doesn't feel good. I don't like it. Can you give me some alternative opportunities? So,
Wow.
so for me, I was born intuitive. I was born with all of my abilities wide open. I can remember my earliest memories lying in my crib, playing with the energies around me, playing with the beings around me. And
You
then I
could see
started to,
them?
I could
Could you see
see
them in your
them
mind's eye or physically, like you were describing?
physically. Yeah. I could see them physically. I could see them in my mind's eye. I could feel them. I could talk to them. All of it. Everything was completely 100% online. And then I started to walk and interact with the world, and it didn't make any sense to me because I knew that if you want to manifest something, well, you just ask for it. You just go make it happen. You don't do all these other things that actually end up pushing it away. I watched as parents and adults and teachers would lie to me. And I knew they were lying. 6 years old, and this person who's supposed to be an authority, who's supposed to be somebody I aspire to be, is lying to me. And then I got a little bit older, and my parents made a tremendous decision for our family that I could feel was just not going to be great. And it was just going to completely change the trajectory of all of our lives. And not necessarily for the better for everyone. Um, but how do you vocalize that at 7 years old? Right?
Mm.
You can't.
No.
I didn't have any form of confidence. And the other thing was, I was molested 5 times before I was 15. So there was also all of this physical um, tragedy that really, in effect, started to shut me down. The world was not safe. I did not want to be here. This is a stupid program. Please, somebody pull me out of this matrix. It was just not, my world was not safe. People were lying. People were making poor decisions. I physically, my body was not safe. People were doing things that were didn't make me feel good. So I systematically started shutting things down because it became too intense. So I stopped using my a lot of my intuitive abilities until I was probably in my early 20s.
And do you, from what you said earlier, when you look at that now, do you feel I designed that so that I would go through those experiences and then start to remember? Like, how would you frame that for someone who's like, why would you need to do that? Like, why would you,
Yeah,
what would you
that's a
say? Mm.
that's a brilliant question
Mm.
because I believe 100% that every single thing that I went through was for me. So watching people lie, watching people make poor decisions allowed me to then develop the discernment within myself to learn how to make optimal decisions. But not only that, but the I watch what happens when you don't make good decisions for yourself, when you go against your intuition, right?
Mhm.
I learned how to make my own good decisions. And because of those two spectrums of discernment, I've learned how to teach it. And more importantly, I now carry the, thank you, energetic resonance of that ability to feel into what is presented and know what is for you. Does that make sense?
Know what is for someone else or for yourself? For
For
someone else.
yourself.
Oh, sorry, for
Yeah, for
yourself.
both.
Yes, yes, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
So you have that ability from going through both to really feel what it feels like if it is for you.
yeah.
Yeah, versus what
And
it is. Yeah.
to be able to teach it so that
Yes.
when I'm working with individuals, because I have that as part of my energetic construct now, I become a mirror for them to sense and get those energy codes, those transmissions that allow it to begin to awaken within my client.
Wow. Yeah, maybe talk about that a bit. There was something
Yeah,
about codes always turns me on. Literally every time I
yeah.
hear the word codes, I'm like, tell me more. Because just what you described there with clients. Yeah, please, if you can just
So
dive a
when
bit more
I
into that.
incarnated into this life, I my karmic number is a 9, which means ta-da, you get to do them all. And that's so that I can teach. So every time we overcome something, we learn something, we grow, we change our energetic matrix, our energetic presence, right? Because now we have a different perspective.
Hmm.
And our greatest influence isn't on what we do, it's on who we are being, what the energy we're radiating out. So, as someone who's learned how to harness discernment, I radiate that out so that when I work with my clients, their energetic matrix taps into my energetic matrix and says, oh, that. I want to learn discernment. I want to learn how to discern for myself. And why is that important? Because it's important because I know how to discern for me. I know how to teach you how to discern for you, but you are the only one who knows how to discern for yourself. Remember
Hmm.
when we talked about feeling, is it a gut or is it a heart? Right? First, let's start there. Which is your litmus test? Which sense tells you what the optimal path is? And then will you allow yourself to be curious about the things that are starting to come into your life and discern what is the optimal next step,
Hmm.
right? Because
Hmm.
I can tell you, you can call me and say, "Hey Teresa, I'm thinking of doing that. What do you think about that?" And I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that feels really good. Yeah, yeah, no, go." But you have to feel it. Because if you're not completely aligned, it won't manifest in the way that you
Mm.
think it will. It will
Yes.
only take you as far as you believe you can go,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Wow. That's a big shift. Like and there's nothing wrong with, like, as you said, going to someone, like someone you trust, an intuit or a psychic or whoever that is.
Yep,
And it's very interesting. Just to give, when you said that, it brought in my own discernment because someone said there was something I was thinking, well, I was actually thinking of planning to start interviewing men on the podcast, and I could feel them. I've said this many times. I could feel them. I could feel them getting closer, and then they sort of went away, and then they were closer, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And I'd be asking different people, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, now's the time," and then someone else, and then, but something in me was now maybe it was what I'm feeling. I did interview my first man last week, but this had been going on for months, like months and months and months, and I was there's something, I suppose, what I feel it was that I wasn't ready. So maybe there was a few things maybe going on. I think energetically, the divine masculine, that energy coming into the grid, someone had been talking to me, and I could sort of feel it, and I just didn't fully feel it. But then
Yeah.
I think there was also what you've said there, the beliefs. There was a part of me that I suddenly uncovered going, I don't know if I can interview men. Like I got all this sort of stuff. And then I said, I think I'm afraid of men. And then all these things started to come up. And then I went back into a wound from childhood, like very interesting. And as that sort of started to shift a bit, then suddenly I didn't go looking. Someone I know, a man I know, just I got a message from him. Could I have a conversation on your podcast? Like, and I was, oh,
Uh,
okay. But like it had been going on and on. But so is that sort of part of what you're saying? So I ultimately, so many people could say maybe the energy at the time was right, but something in me didn't. And I
yeah.
feel it was my beliefs around it. Oh, I don't know, this won't work. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That
So
is
that's the
such a
discernment, I
perfect,
suppose, isn't it? Because
yeah.
I could have, and I did about a year ago, I did interview someone, and afterwards I said, look, how did you feel about that? And he was like, oh, I didn't feel good himself. He just didn't feel
Yeah.
confident he wanted to. And I said, I felt awful. We agree. It was perfect. And we both trusted it and left it. So I didn't listen first, but then, yeah, it's amazing. So that's a key, isn't it? That's a really, because we can go to people and get insights and they can say, yeah. So what you're saying is the energetics and everything might be right, but if there's something going on in you, maybe beliefs, that could
Yep.
be blocking it, or is
A
it?
hundred
Yeah.
percent. 100%.
Yeah.
And that's by design. So, and this applies to anything you want to manifest. If it's not coming to you, the world isn't responsible. It's you. What within you is holding it at arm's length
Mm.
and saying, I don't think I'm ready for this.
That's a
Where
big
is the,
becoming a grown up.
yeah, right. This is adulting 101.
Oh no, I have to grow up after all this time. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. And get curious. What, so, so you have a construct, something you want to, okay, thank you. You have a construct, something you want to manifest, and it's not coming to you, and yet you know that it's part of your journey, such as interviewing men, right? Okay, where do you feel the dissonance? Step into discernment, curiosity, patience, neutrality. Is it the men element? Is it the podcast itself? Does the podcast's voice need something different? No, it's not that. Okay, it's something about the men. And then you start to dive in to determine what about me, what is my relationship to men, exactly as you did. And that's how you begin to break down the barriers to manifesting.
Yes.
But
Well, mm,
here's the thing, you can call somebody, you can receive coaching and mentoring, and that's perfect because we need each other to see things, right?
yeah.
But the ultimate decision is what is within you. And I want to say that in order to really exercise deep discernment, you want to develop tools that work for you. Now, do you go into meditation? Do you journal? Do you ask questions of a friend or have a friend ask questions? Because some people are verbal processors. I know I am
Mm,
many times. Do you need to talk things through? Do you need to clear your energy and kind of get rid of all the detritus and garbage that's in your field so you're more clear, right? Maybe it's
mm,
something that you've picked up that just needs to be released. So there are any number of ways for you to discern what's optimal, but the key is to find your tools and build a toolkit. Now, that is definitely adulting 101, is to build a toolkit that you know works for you and use it. And a
mm,
toolkit isn't just a hammer, because sometimes a hammer's not the right answer,
mm.
you know. So having a suite of tools that work for you to get to the bottom of what's going on.
And that then must involve a certain amount of, you talked about, I just wanted to ask you when you said about this soul contract chart or whatever that you develop with the client, to me, what it sounds like you're describing is a natal astrological chart almost. Is it that?
Yeah.
Or no, is it something
Yeah,
completely different?
it is. It's based on the um Kabbalah. It's based on the
Ah,
letters in the Kabbalah. It's based on astrology. It's based on the planets
mm,
outside of astrology. It's based on the human body. It's
mm,
based on channeled information. So a man
mm,
in the 50s or no, 70s or 80s came up with this methodology. He channeled it and shared it with a few friends who have in turn gone on and teach it. I learned it from my friend Almira Ariel Haller, who runs the Center for Consciousness,
yes.
and um, it's it's every single soul contract reading I've done. The person has come back and said 100% right, and I feel like I'm fully seeing myself for the first time. And I don't feel like I've ever been seen the way I see myself now. It's it's powerful. It's so it's a 5-day class, and literally the next morning when I woke up, my guide said, "You have to start doing this right now." And I did, and I haven't
And
looked back
when
since. Yeah.
and when was that, Teresa? When did you start
This
using that?
was in June.
Oh, it's just in June.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so when you started, everything's so interconnected when I'm listening to you. It's like, oh my God. It's like ping, 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 ping. When you're saying each person has to process or develop their own way of discerning or listening to their intuition. And what I've noticed more and more, and it's got faster and more furious recently, is everything I'm trying to work out. And I ask and I say it this is my way of doing it. I literally say, I'm handing it over to my soul and to show me the way. I'm handing it over to you. Just show me today. And I might have some questions, and I'm just, thy will be done, basically. And there could be something yeah, is it this way? And next minute, I'll have a guest on the podcast, and they always give me the answer.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
happening now, rapido. I mean, it's literally like you said, I could be just thinking it the night before someone comes on or that morning, and next minute I'm having a conversation going, I think they're answering my question. And I
Yeah.
didn't even know I had the question in one way. So this sort of but this has come, I suppose, yeah, this honing and discerning and healing, I suppose, is the other thing I was going to say, that if you're coming up against the beliefs and the blocks like I did, is that a part of what you do? Or would you say to someone, look, it seems like there's some bit of something happened or something in your childhood you may need to work on? Do you do that type of work, or would
Mhm.
you do?
Yes. Yes. So I do it from two perspectives. The first is um, I'll channel information that will help us untangle and shift the belief. And if it is, and often it's that simple. It was born from this life when we just need to re-examine the situation and recontextualize it so it becomes a an opportunity as opposed
Mm,
to a place where we were a victim. Moving
yes,
out of victim mentality is a huge opportunity for humanity. We
yes,
really need to stop doing that because we're not
yeah.
victims, um, really and truly. And I know I can hear everybody saying in their mind, yeah, but the wars and the atrocities, you know what? We incarnate exactly where we're meant to incarnate, and we go through exactly what we're meant to go through. And you have all the tools and skills and support this plane and from your guides to overcome. And sometimes we're here just to have a really, really hard life. And that sucks, but it is always for a reason. And it's up to us to change our perspective on what's occurring around us. Because when we start to change our perspective, we begin to change the energy we're holding and give implicit permission for people around us who may be in the same situation to change their perspective.
Mm,
And if I influence five people and five people influence another five people, that's how we change the world.
mm,
That's how we don't do it through politics. We don't do it through policies. We don't do it through the corporate structures. We change it in here and then we vibrate it out. So holding the intention of what you want to see in our planet is vital. You are not a victim. And for all those people who are still up in arms, I can see and feel them in my mind's eye. I get it. I get it. Um,
you sort of have to hold many things at once, really, isn't it? That's the challenge at this. That there isn't just one singular, this is it. There's many layers it's to it.
yeah,
You're sort of
yeah,
holding a lot of contradictory, paradoxical things at the one time. I've come up against it all the time in myself. I'm out there judging, and then I'm going, what's really going on in here is probably self-judgment, or there's some wound there, and it's much easier to go out and judge than feel the pain that I'm feeling, and I'll go back out judging for a while, and then eventually something, it just softens. And when that can happen, maybe just the timing, then I can look at what I was judging differently. And I've witnessed it I've experienced it in my own life. But my God, it can get such a grip because it forces, well, for me, it's sort of bringing me within, going, do I really need to go there?
yeah,
Can we just fix
yeah,
that out there? I'm good. But
yeah.
yeah,
And
but we're growing
and
up. Yeah.
it is. And that's where our wisdom comes in, right? We don't become wiser unless we go through tough things. And then we change our relationship with the situation.
Mm,
That's how we learn. We change our like when I look at the molestations, I didn't do anything wrong. And the moment I did that, I freed myself from being a victim. And the moment I freed myself from being the victim, I held the energetic resonance, the energy codes of no longer being the victim, so that people who have the same situation can shift their relationship to their event. And
through
that's
being, yeah, wow. Mm.
right.
Through
Yeah.
being with you, that those energy codes can be transmitted to them, and then that's can shift, even if it's not necessarily conscious, or they may be looking for it, but they don't understand it, is it maybe? Or how does
Um,
that? work?
So we'll receive it on the subconscious level, and then it's up to us to make it conscious, right? It's up to us because we are a 3D world, we are a physical world. We do need to bring it into the physicality. And it is about understanding that that is not who I am. That was an event that happened, and I was simply a vessel. It had nothing to do with who I am as a person and who the being is in here. It is all about that person and allowing them, by untethering yourself, allowing them to have that experience themselves. And then they can go clean up their own experience because I've cleaned up mine. I've
Mm.
unhooked.
Unhooked. Yeah. That seems to be a big, is that happening a lot now? Like I know we keep hearing the word sovereignty and we're moving into an age of sovereignty. And I really like that. I didn't understand that. I have more of an embodied sense of it now, I feel. I can't say completely, but I would have been very codependent without even knowing it. I suppose most of us are in this or were. And now this sense of what you're describing of, no, I don't have to, that's not really anything to do with me. When you start to really, I suppose it's all part of the intuition and really feeling into yourself, isn't it? That sort of comes as a side, as a byproduct, really. You have to
Yeah,
be in that space first, don't you?
yeah. You have to
Before,
trust yourself. You have to
yeah,
trust your own intuition to know what's for you and what's not for you. And use that discernment that we've been talking about.
yeah.
Yeah.
So was that a big part of what we're going through, this energetic untangling? Or how would you describe what's shifting or happening now?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is. It is. And it's tied directly to sovereignty, authority, and autonomy. We're no longer saying, "Oh, I believe you," or "Oh, yes, I agree with you," even if we don't. We're declaring the autonomy and authority over our own experience by being sovereign and saying, "Actually, you know what? No, you're wrong. I don't agree with you. But I absolutely see that you need to have your own perspective, and that's okay. But I just don't happen to believe the same thing."
We seem to be having a bit of a challenge with that at the moment.
We do.
Well, I suppose it has to go to that extreme, isn't it? Where it's almost intolerable for someone to hold the opposite opinion to you. We can't seem to hold that at all now.
Yeah.
And is
Yeah.
that just that's being cleared out, that we have to see how crazy it is, or just we have to see that
Yeah.
before
We
that
have to
can sort
see
of
how
clear out.
toxic and, uh-huh. Yep. And then we have to choose differently because if we stay in the morphogenic field of I agree, I concur, I support, even when we kind of know in the back of our heads, yeah, that's probably not right, we're feeding it energy. We're sending our energy codes to it to keep it alive.
Hmm.
And then when we turn around and say, you know what, actually, no, I don't agree with you. No, I don't support you. And no, I'm taking my energy back. All of a sudden, that belief system or that way of being or that person or that construct starts to diminish, right? It's no
Yeah.
longer powerful.
Yeah. It sort of collapses in, doesn't it? Because there's no
Yep.
energy feeding it. Yeah.
Yep.
And that's sort of what's playing out now, isn't it? It's, as you said, I love the way you talk about it with codes. I hadn't really thought about it that way. I just would have felt, oh yeah, what energy am I contributing to something or not? I never, it really brings more this growing up and being responsible, that if I clear up something in me, my codes shift, and that's what's got the power. Like that's then just energetically can shift that in someone else without me even doing anything. I mean, that's really, um,
Powerful.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, that
That,
goes so, and I talk about this in my book right in the beginning.
yes.
This is authentic influence. If you really want to have an influence on someone or something, stand in your power. Ta-da, energy codes going out, and what's going out is being received by others, giving them implicit permission to all of a sudden stand in their own power. Uh-huh. That is authentic power. That is authentic influence. Now let's take that one step further. Now do you understand why you're so powerful? Why you're so important to this planet? The more that you become the most authentic version of yourself, the more that you understand that you can influence and you can change the world simply by being the best version of yourself, that is authentic power. And
Mm.
that's what is waiting for all of us. That's what we're all moving towards. That's what the human evolution is all about. It's not about getting on to some podcast or going to some teaching or listening to some guru. It's all about finding out what's authentic in you. Listen to those people, go to those teachings, have those podcasts, and then take that information and discern this is for me, and this is for me, and the rest I don't need.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. That's, and you know what you said earlier? I think for listeners, if anyone's doubting, they're that they have a role here on earth, I think you've really, Teresa, really helping, I think, sort of unravel that and explain it. But particularly when you said about you are a puzzle piece, people don't believe that you're an important puzzle piece. That that that's a really yeah, I mean, just even to hear that when you said when you take, if you're coming back into your authentic power, it's how I see that now is no, you are vital, like, because whatever combination of codes or energy is in you and expression, you have to go through all that discernment, but nobody else has that little unique piece. So you've got to
Yeah.
go unraveling it all and find your piece. And somewhere, somebody, something needs it. Like, have you seen an example? Can you give an example of where you saw this in somebody, or I don't know, somebody who was like, I have nothing to offer, and then, or how it can show up? Because I suppose we often think, oh, it has to be some big, huge way.
Yeah, it's in the
Yeah.
small things.
Mm,
And
mm,
I'll draw it back to, so I still love business. I still love the corporate environment. And why I love it is because it allows me the opportunity to have influence on somebody's development. If I'm in an authority position, they're going to listen to me because they have to. They don't have a choice. And my purpose on this planet is to help people evolve. That's 100% why I'm here and why I do all the things that I do. Now, I was managing a couple of clinics in the Seattle area, and in one of the clinic, my assistant was I had given her authority to make a decision. That's how they learn, right? You know.
mm-hmm.
And so she made a decision, and I said, "Okay, are you sure about that?" She says, "Yeah, I feel really good about this decision." I said, "Great, go implement it." And she did. And she came back to me about an hour later and she said, "Oh, that wasn't the right decision." I said, "Tell me more." And so she explained why the decision she made was having a challenging influence on the clinicians. She wanted to change something about how they processed information or customers, patients. And I said, "So tell me, what was the effect of your decision and how should we change it now? And she did. She walked me through the whole thing, but all of a sudden she owned her decision. She owned that she made a mistake. But as I said before, we don't learn through the happy times, we learn through adversity. We learn when we make mistakes. And she will never make that mistake again. And she learned that when making a decision, you don't always go with the first thing that comes to mind. And you actually have a conversation with the people that you're influencing by that decision and get their feedback because they'll tell you what they need.
Mm.
So there were so many layers of learning for her. Um, and that's true in life. We don't tell people what to do. We offer how it feels for us. But again, it's stepping into your own power.
Yeah, and you were supporting that. Like, I suppose when I think of probably for a lot of people, there might be a fear around that, going, "Oh my God, if I make they can't even listen because if I make the wrong decision, I'll be fired, I'll be demoted." So, I suppose you having that influence helped her learn because you were doing.
Yep.
What are some signs? I mean, so we're talking a lot about discernment, learning to trust yourself and listen to your voice, um, and then maybe seeing where we've our own blocks and things that we have to work through. It might sound obvious, but like for me, straight away, what comes up is I think of people, because I did suffer that myself with a lot of anxiety, to just seem to be, and it's more and more common, even with young
Yeah.
people. To me, and we can just maybe get your perspective on it, a lot of it now, if I track back in my own life, is probably the anxiety was because I wasn't listening to my intuition. There's a whole thing, oh no, there's an epidemic of anxiety, it just is. And my feeling is, I think it's when you're just not trusting yourself and you're going against, and your body's like, how would you
I would agree with
frame
that.
yeah. So how does
Yeah.
someone, particularly I'm a lot of young people I meet, but they can be older as well. What would you say to them if they're feeling so much anxiety they just can't function almost?
Again, it goes back to what are the tools that will serve you, but most of all, baby steps. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind to yourself. It's okay to say no. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to go away and be by yourself until you feel better. That's self care. That's self love. And understand the situations that create the state of anxiety and look at why, because there'll be something in your past that's triggered it. And there's some time in your life that you felt unsafe. And when you begin to identify the origin, you can change your relationship to the situation and experience. But baby steps, just I, somebody said this to me about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and it's just like a little bit mind blowing for me as somebody who's been so driven my whole life. Resting is a verb. You are doing something when you're resting, and you're
Mm.
allowed to rest, and you're allowed to do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. We undervalue self care. We work too hard, we work too many hours, typically doing things that we're not particularly interested in or invested in. We say, especially women, I am calling this out a little bit, and I can include myself in this. We say yes when we should have said no. When we go to the buffet table, we take the worst piece because we want to save the good stuff for everybody else, right? We'll take the biggest piece of pie. Take what you want. This is self affirming. This is self-love. This is self-care. And I cannot overstate how, just as we've talked about the tools we need to overcome the adversities in our life or to manifest what we want to create, I cannot overstate how vital it is to step into self care because you cannot be an intuitive being moving into discernment if you are not fully resourced.
Mm,
And you can't be fully resourced unless you've taken care of yourself. And let me run down a simple list. Eat healthy foods. Stop eating prepared, boxed, canned, or fast foods. Stop. They are filled with stuff that is not good for you. Get out and move your body every single day. Every day. Cultivate friendships that feed you. Don't hang around with people who are going to drag you down and make you feel bad. Cultivate your social media and your online presence. Don't listen to things that are going to introduce an energy into your body that is not anything you would want to have in your real life.
mm,
Get rid of the sensationalism. It's not healthy. And rest. Feed yourself the things that you need to feel good. Are you an introvert? Are you an extrovert? And for those ambiverts, the ones that sit in the middle,
oh, never heard that. Yeah.
yeah, figure out what you need to self-care. Do you need to go be by yourself? Do you need to go hang out in a pub or at a coffee shop and be around a bunch of people because that kind of feels good right now? So again, it's listening to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it becomes easier, as you said, when you start to clear out all of the toxicity in a way, mentally, physically, emotionally. I've seen that in my own life. And then I've started to become so sensitive that I couldn't reintroduce. I don't want to, but though everything starts to become it's unnumbing, I suppose, the unnumbing process because
Yeah.
it's many of us are, I feel, because it's been hard and when you don't know how to listen to yourself and you've never been told to listen to yourself. So you're now getting permission. If you're listening to this, it's time to listen to yourself and time to rest. I'll just share one example as well from me because I would have been, I mean, getting breast cancer on my right side was sort of a sign of it. It was just struggle, strive, push, shove, and a lot of, my own traumas and stuff behind that and beliefs and everything. But
Yeah.
even 10 years after cancer, it's still this reflex goes back to do, 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 do. Oh my God, you have to keep doing. And I've noticed when I've been brought to a halt, but when I've actually managed to start shifting. And when I recharge and take the time, something that I suppose this is just the upside of doing that, something that I might have been struggling with mentally or trying to find an answer or a solution. I could be lying on bed and I wake up and I ping, it's there. And I didn't
Yeah.
need to, I didn't need to do all the,
Yeah.
and I could have been
All the
sitting over a
research
laptop
or the
all day.
running. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm being shown it doesn't need to be like that. It really doesn't have to be like that. I've believed it because my family, my ancestors, culturally, that it has to be a struggle. But it's like breaking that is quite difficult when, isn't it? When it's not just yours, it's like a whole collective belief that life has to be, and if you're not on that slog, well, then you're really lazy and you're not, you're a bit of a bum or something. So it's,
Yeah.
but I have a friend, a lovely fellow. Well, I was in school with her, but I reconnected again through the podcast. And she said, what I do, and I'm always amazed, she's an intuitive and a channeler as well. And she said, often she'll go off and she loves swimming. I go for a swim and she'll say, now while I'm gone, cook up a few nice ideas and opportunities for me to work with. And she said, it always happens. It's just, she
Yeah.
said, she just plays with it. And magic, and I've really learned from her as well. So if you're listening, it can take a bit of time, but It really isn't it. It's just if something's very ingrained, it just does take a little bit of time. But everything you've described, Teresa, thank you. And I would you be open to doing before we finish up? I know we've gone on quite a bit of time, but do you feel you might want to tell us a little bit about your guides and maybe bring in something they might want to share on that?
Yeah, let me see who's around. So we've got the two guides that I've been working with the most are the 99, and they've been with me for several years. They are a collective of souls whose prime mandate is to support the evolution of humanity. And the other one is Mary Magdalene, who works with a Divine Feminine Council who is primarily focused on balancing Divine Feminine on the planet. And it is my honor to be with you today. And we thank you, our dearest sister, Celine, for you are indeed part of the Divine Feminine Council, not in the human body, but in the soul aspect. And so it is with great delight that we are able to connect with you today. Thank you so much for the invitation to come in and speak and share in this moment.
Thank you.
This this is a tremendous time of growing and learning and rebalancing that which has been moving in a direction that does not serve the evolution of our planet Earth. What we would like to offer in this moment is that there is tremendous opportunity for each and every listener to step into the magic that you have defined in your conversation and to bring into flow the energies that want to be expressed for your own personal evolution and the evolution of the planet. There are many ways in which you can take actions to support the evolution. One is to dive deep into your own and understand what it is you are here to do for your personal soul to develop. Embrace that with great love and joy. Play with the things that you are here to be, do, and have in this lifetime. Allow yourself to receive. This is a deeply profound aspect of the Divine Feminine. Receptivity is a key part of creation. So many humans are focused on what they put out into the world. But that is not how things are created. It is not about the doing. It is about sitting back and receiving all of the blessings that have been lined up for you. In fact, much energy is expended in holding them at arm's length or even pushing them away. The simple declaration that you receive all the good that is waiting for you is an excellent place to start. And we would like to inform you that you cannot receive when you are working at a dead run. Receiving is done in the quiet inner space of the individual. Receiving is done when one is in self-trust and open to receive information, opportunities, conversations, experiences. And in the receiving, one must say, yes, yes, I see that. Yes, I receive that. And when that door opens and you receive that which has come in for you, continue to stay vigilant, for the next door will appear in front of you. And the action that catalyzes the next door is your receptivity. You have so much focus on the doing, doing, doing. We wish you to receive, receive, receive. And in fact, the energy is changing so dramatically on planet Earth. Earth has determined she is raising her vibration, and humans are at choice, and there is no wrong choice. But the more the Earth raises her vibration, the time and space between receiving a next step and receiving a next step and receiving a next step diminishes. And the receiving can be 3 steps, where in your parlance of time, 5 years ago, it could have taken many months. We have spoken, Teresa, quite a bit over the last month about humans being creator gods. We wish that you would embrace your power. We wish that you would embrace that you are indeed a creator God of your world. And that which you cultivate within you appears without. What are you cultivating in your inner garden? What do you wish to see in your world? And are you tending to it in the inner garden? Cultivate an inner landscape that is vast and beautiful, that is filled with joy and love and peace and playfulness. Play and watch as you cultivate this inner world and it manifests all around you, everywhere you look. And then when it manifests around you, say yes, and even more will show up. And when the challenges come to you, and they will, acknowledge this is for me. What do I get to learn? What is this teaching me? And how can I evolve into an even greater creator God? What is the energetic resonance I am being asked to examine, transmute, and then embody? For in this you become a vessel of support for our Earth's evolution. We want you to know how deeply you are loved and how we cherish and value every single human on the planet. You are supported. You are worthy. You are worthy of all of your dreams. And you are loved beyond what you can experience in this lifetime. The love that we hold for you is greater than you can imagine. You are important. And with that, we thank you. We love you. And we are with you always. Just like a warm hug.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Do you feel that takes a lot from you, or you just feel, like you said, a warm hug? Does it feel,
You
how
know,
does it feel?
I'm constantly in channel now.
Mm,
Um, it's why I don't prepare speeches or I
mm,
don't, when I'm speaking or teaching, I do very little preparation because I know that I just tap into.
yeah. Receive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
How would you encourage us to open that up in ourselves more?
yeah. Every single human on this planet has the capacity to channel. It is simply a matter of trusting yourself, affirming you're safe, you're not going to get taken over. And I am not a trance channel. I don't completely leave my body. I am like even now I'm connected. And so the visual for me is we have a vertical tube of energy that runs through the middle of our body, 6 feet below our feet into the planet and 6 feet above our crown chakra. And this is the essential flow of energy to and from the universe, to and from the earth. And what I do is I keep that open and I have very, okay, so I'm going to describe it to you as I do it. I open it and I expand it so it becomes a funnel and then almost like a bowl. And then when I look above me, I have the 99 here. I have Mary Magdalene here. I have Lord Metatron there. I have Eli and another, yeah, I haven't talked to them in a while, but they're still there. Another group there. And then on the periphery, for example, Celine, your guides and souls are sitting over there. And if I'm working with clients, I'll call them in closer and ask, do you have anything to share? Um, when I'm doing private channeling for groups, I'll have a team on the outside who I can then um, open to receive information from. And on the physical, it's like my whole head is a little tingly up top. And sometimes if it gets really intense, feels like my face is melting off. It just is also, yeah, melty. Yeah. So,
And I suppose the our own frequency that we're holding obviously has an impact. We need to be clean enough inside, don't we, for to or do we to make that
Yeah,
connection?
it's do we have to be clean enough? Let me ask. It certainly helps. They're saying it certainly helps to, okay, the 99 want to come in. Hmm. They're fun. And we thank you for your question. Yes, indeed, it does help to clean and clear your energy. Teresa does this on a continuous basis, so she has less of a relationship with the action. It is optimal to ensure that you are in a clean channel so that the information you receive is optimal for you at that time and you do not have interference from other people's perceptions and you are not influenced. Just as you're influenced as a human, you can experience influence when you're with a group of people and they can influence what comes in through your channel. Now, one wants to also learn their energy construct. Learn about your chakras, learn about your energy systems, learn about your bubble, learn how to take care of it, learn how to reinforce it, learn how to set it on auto clean, learn how to move through it when you're in the dream state so that you don't inadvertently call in those things that are not necessarily optimal for you and they simply just want to feed off your light. So, yes, indeed, it is important to maintain energetic hygiene. And it is what Teresa is telling us is that it is just like learning your physical body. It is something that all humans should understand. What is energy hygiene for you? Where are your points of vulnerability? What do you need to attend to? And how do you have a relationship with your emotional body or your third chakra or your crown chakra? Understand what is your relationship with all these different systems and then create what is optimal for you. For example, one of the most essential things that each individual should be doing is maintaining their energy bubble. Your energy bubble is synonymous with your skin on the body. If you have a tear, if you have a rip, you want to repair it and you want to make sure you take care of that area until it's fully healed. It is essential that one maintains the energy bubble and ensure that nothing comes in that is not optimal for you. So we thank you, A, for the opportunity of answering your question and opening the door for us to come in and share our wisdom. For indeed, we partner with Teresa more than any of her other guys because we are here to support her with the evolution of humanity. That is our primary focus. We are here to help you grow. We are here to help you evolve. And we are here to share our wisdom on how it is optimal for you as your specific journey unfolds, how you are to do that for yourself. And with that, we will sign off and we thank you. Many blessings. They're like this pitcher of water that just gets poured into
I
me.
know. Yeah, like they've got a bit of feisty energy there, don't they?
They really do.
Yeah, you could really feel that. Mary Magdalene was more, softer, and then they were like, "In we come."
Yeah. They're
Oh,
fun.
thank you. That was a lot. Now we asked to do. That got a lot more than expected. Thank you. That was just magnificent. Really, really was. Thank you so
That
much. It
was
was a lovely way to round up everything we'd been talking about. Just extra I'm just left with that message to receive more. It was sort of what we were, talking about all the doing. Um, yeah. So I will leave it there because I think we've talked a long time. And just to mention your book as well, A Manual for Humanity. If people, I know that's there's a companion workbook as well, isn't there? And it's sort of a roadmap for spiritual growth and personal transformation. So it's quite a practical
Mhm.
book, is it,
It
for people just based on what we've been talking about here today?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's everything that I teach my clients, every tool that I
Okay.
could think of. as well as many ways to find your purpose on the planet.
Oh,
Um,
fantastic.
and then Workbook for Wisdom is taking insight and moving it into integration. It gives you journaling prompts and practices that you can use to, to figure out which are the tools for you and to try different tools on and to do writing journal prompts that will perhaps give you different ways of looking at things. Because I mean, I'm all about getting the information out there, but for me, I'm an experiential learner. So give me something to play with. Give me something to apply what you've just taught me. Because if I can feel it, if I can internalize it a
Mm,
little bit, then I can start to own it and it becomes mine. Your
yeah,
information gives me the catalyst to develop my own skills. And so I've kind of applied that across both books. Yeah.
great. So I'll put links. Is the best, where's the best place for people to get your books? Is it through your website? Um,
Amazon. You can
Amazon.
get it
So,
on my website, but Amazon.
okay,
Yeah.
I will put the links. And you work with people privately, obviously, you work with people in groups. Do you have a membership or how does?
I don't.
Okay,
I have a trust circle that I run at 9 a.m. Pacific every Tuesday, which is 5 uh
GMT, really, or
yeah,
BST.
GMT.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's free. It's an hour. We all just get together, hang out, and share. And we've been doing this for over 5 years.
Oh,
A
wow.
good group of people. I have a 6-month curriculum to help you find your purpose and step into it called The Alchemy of an Intentional Life. And then get on my email list because there are times
Mm,
when the universe drops in and says, "Hey, would you go teach this, please?" And so I'll jump in and put together classes episodically throughout the year. And the other thing that I'm doing is the Global Evolutionary Summit, which occurs in the spring. And I bring in guest speakers so you get to hear from other people who are teaching and experience their work. It's pretty profound.
wow. And is that once a year you do that or how often?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
once a
is.
year.
Yep.
Okay. So everything really the best way is to get on your mailing list. Is that,
Yep.
yeah. Check out the website. I'll put all the links below. And yeah, just to say thank you so much, Teresa. That was fabulous. And just got so much from that. And I'm sure everybody listening did as well. And yeah, thank you for your time today, all the way from Seattle.
Thank you so much, Celine, for being the voice that so many need to hear.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Until the next time, take care for now.